Hello, traders, and welcome to Price Plan Profit. It's Melissa, and it is time for me to recap the trades that I placed today. So I'm going to start with SPX. This is what I day traded today, just scalp trades. I was teaching on the mic for the first hour of the market open, so no scalp type day trading for me during the first hour, but I wanted to show you how SPX traded out of the PMZ this morning. First off, we had a gap up right away on SPX. This is where we closed on Friday and price gapped up on the open. First target, these are or were extension targets because all-time highs as we opened up the day on SPX. So just extension targets up at 66.10, 15, and 66.20. Right out of the gate, SPX was above the PMZ and hit that first extension target for me for about 6.5 points above the top of the PMZ. Then price rejected off of that extension level back to the PMZ. This would have been a great conservative entry to play off the PMZ again up to a first target and then a second target before price pulled back. Once price pulled back, we created this beautiful rounding bottom and went up. We got a buy arrow here, went up and created new all-time highs right at about 66.20 level. We actually made a new all-time high at 66.1962. This is where I began my first day trades. Once we made that all-time high and then we created a lower high, I put a note on my chart for the SPX room at Simpler Trading that if we were looking for shorts, I would wait for a lower high and then a break below the body, and only if the reward is worth it. So, my target for this trade was 66.15. The entry was this topping wick here back up at the body of that lower high candle. I went short choosing the 66.15 put because that was my first target on this wick right here. I had an automatic bid placed. I was filled on that bid and I exited at that first target. I was not looking to trade multiple contracts and looking for home runs because simply I was trading against the trend and I was taking the easy profits here. So in at or around 66.18, exited at or around 66.15. That paid right at $100 per contract. My next trade came shortly thereafter. I want to show you how I drew these Fibonacci's and show you why I went long where I did. All right, the low on the day was down here, and at this time, the high on the day was up here. So I drew Fibonacci's from there. Now, remember, I've already exited a short trade at 66.15. Well, ironically, the long trade, my first target was also 66.15 because of the candlestick structure right here. My plan was to buy one contract at the 38.2 pullback and then add to the position to full allocation if price continued to drop back down to the golden pocket here. I was only able to get into one contract here at the 66.13 area, the 38.2. only in one contract, and in less than 5 minutes, I exited that one contract for $120 profit per contract. Uh, Again, I was only in one, didn't get the second fill here. So, first trade was to the downside, second trade was to the upside, and in both cases, 66.15 was my target. I'm going to go ahead and remove these lines that I was showing you where my initial targets were as far as extensions go so that we can talk about the next trade that I took. The next trade I took was this pullback on the golden pocket here. I decided that I was willing to take some of my profits from these two trades and attempt to go long inside of the golden pocket. I actually bought down here towards the bottom of the golden pocket and was committed to 5-minute candle closes. This 5-minute candle closed below the golden pocket, so I was stopped out on that candle close. So as of right then, I had two winners and gave back some of my profits, but obviously not all of my profits, as it was only about a 3-point stop out here. So stopped out on that trade. Up next, the next trade that I took was a long position from the PMZ. We got another pullback here to the PMZ at about 2:30 in the afternoon Eastern time. I went long from the PMZ down here right at 66.03, and I exited back up at, now let me remove these fib levels so I can show you why I exited there. Now my Fibonacci's are ran from the high to the low, and at the time, this was the low. All right, so my target was the 38.2 of this range from high to low. 38.2, I went long from the PMZ and exited there. Now, I knew that there was a possibility that we would turn back to the downside. I had several reasons to think that, and I'm going to remove these drawings just so we can better see price action here. All right, why I thought that once we got from the PMZ up here to about 6609 to 6611 was because we had candle structure, we had several trendy sell arrows, and the 5-minute cloud all in this area. So I went ahead and took a short position. I bought puts, the 6610 puts, for a play back down to 6605. Once we hit 6605, I placed a trail stop and was trail stopped out of this trade for $160 in profits. So you can see, even though these aren't home run hitters, they add up, and I ended up positive about $400 on the day. Even though I had one loss, I had three winners, one loser, and just scalping 5 to 10 points per trade paid enough in profits for me to be happy there. Up next, the next trade that I need to talk about is Delta Airlines. I have been in this trade. It was a swing trade. I had trimmed out of 2/3 of my position and had a hard break even stop. And when we opened the day, right at the opening, my break even stop was hit. So I exited that final contract and took my remainder of the position off. So I am now completely out of Delta Airlines. couple of quick trims, and a break even stop that was hit. Up next is UEC. I have been long UEC for several days here. We're going to look at a 4-hour chart and I will explain the trade. Although I never added to full allocation, the reason I didn't get my add to full allocation is once I had started the position, I was looking for higher lows, which I did get a higher low here today at about 11 a.m. But the next candle opened up and we never had a pullback for me to get an entry here to add to the position before some news came out about uranium, and up it went where I trimmed at my first target and actually towards the end of the day got another trim at my second target. So I am now out of at 2 targets. What I like to do at this point is run my Fibonacci from the low, which in this case is this candle right here. I'll show you. The low here to the high, which is $13.25. And with over a month to expiration, I am not going to babysit this winning trade. Rather, I am moving my stop to be in line with the 38.2 Fibonacci level. Now, it is just an alert. I have a break even stop back at my entry, and in order to not get wicked out on a sudden pullback to $12.57, I just have it set as an alert. If I get a candle close though below $12.57, I will exit the remaining of the position here for profits again. But if price continues moving to the upside and you have multiple contracts left that you would like to know where the next trim levels would be, I would need to use Fibonacci extensions to get those for you. So I'm going to go with the round number here just above the 38.2 extension as the first upside target, and then the round number of $15 here right before the 100% extension as a second target. So as long as $12.57 holds as support, I will stay in the trade targeting $14 and then $15. I will play this more as a continuation of momentum play as long as that bull channel holds as support. So that wraps up the trades I took today. I had 4 day trades on SPX. I had a break even stop hit on Delta Airlines, and I had a nice 2 trims, about 50% on that second trim, I do believe, on UEC, and I will continue riding the momentum as long as the bull channel holds as support. I hope you all had a wonderful day of trading. If you're not already a part of the Trendy Trading Room or the SPX room at Simpler Trading, I invite you to join John and I in there as we teach and trade and alert every single day. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.